How are you guys doing?
Fine, very good.
Good. Having fun. Oh my God, I cannot wait. I was just telling everybody while I was killing time waiting to start that last week we just went on the ship and we traveled to Cuba as a team. And we're very excited about the ship. We're very excited working with Royal Caribbean, and Cuba is just beyond everything that I expected. I mean, I'm sure you've been there before, but for me, it was my first time in Havana. Tito, you've been in?
It's going to be my first time with you, actually.
Tito, you've been in Havana?
Yes, I've been twice. Actually, my first trip as a dancer, but my first trip as a dancer was to Cuba.
And how was it?
In 1994.
1994, wow.
Yes, it was very nice. It was a trip where they had a concert where they have all these artists from Puerto Rico recording songs from Cuban artists, and the same vice versa, Cuban people from recording songs from Puerto Rican singers. And that was una producción from music production of Genio Acosta, a guy from Puerto Rico that called from Huawei, and he was the one that did that. And I went over there with my teacher, my dance teacher, that was Papito Hala Hala, and his group, and it was a beautiful experience. That was my first time. And then like 5 or 6 years ago, they invited me also with Albert Torres to do the conference that I do about the history of the salsa, and they invited us to talk a little bit about the salsa.
Okay, Tamara, I'm excited for you for your first time, and I don't know if you know, but that day we have no workshops, we have no shows, we have only concerts late at night. So you're going to be able to enjoy Cuba, take some short excursion, and Tito is going to show you around. So guys, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate that. This is something that we started to do like about a month or 2 ago. I don't know, I cannot keep track. And it's a lot of fun. You know, I bring a bunch of dancers, many of my friends and people that we respect and admire like yourself to talk and share just your experience in a very casual and fun way. I don't have any notes, or actually I have a few questions here that I want to ask you, but you guys are, you know, I'm super excited to have you here because I think, as you know, and many other people know, you have so much to share with so many dancers that look up to you and admire you, including myself. And I'm so happy that every year you keep on coming on ADC.
Thank you.
So for the 2 or 3 people that are watching us that don't know who you are, I'll let you introduce yourself really quick and we're going to get going. Tito, you want to start? Yeah.
So, okay. So I start as a first. I started in this world of salsa because my father. I come from a family of musicians. My dad is a musician. My mom, my my grandfather, everybody. And my dad, at one point, he wanted me to be one of the singers of his band, his orchestra. And he asked me. He put me to do some classes of singing and dancing. And at that moment, I was in the university. I was studying biology, and that's why I finished in University of Biology. And I was an athlete, pole vaulting. But at that moment, my dad asked me to be in his band, and I did some songs that we record, but my feet were better. So from that point, I started taking classes with one of the greatest teachers or dancer from here from Puerto Rico, called Papito Hala Hala. And once I started dancing with him, a lot of doors opened for me in this world of salsa. And when I finished university, I went to New York to study a little bit more deep dancing in general, and take some of the classes of jazz, ballet, tap, acrobatics. Went back to Puerto Rico, started working in a pharmaceutical. But the world of dancing just filled up all my schedule. And from there on, a lot of opportunities opened. I started developing a program with the government of Puerto Rico of teaching salsa for free for all the community. I have been doing this for the last 21 years. Then I started working with some of the artists from Puerto Rico, like Gilberto Santa Rosa, Victor Manuel, El Gran Combo, to mention some of them. and be the choreographer of the concerts. From that point, that's over 26 years that I have been working in this world. And then when the congresses started in 1997, I was part of those first group that started spreading these events around the world, and also developing a lot of the rules that we use today for the competitions. And up to a moment that I joined my wife and my partner, Tamara, that then we started working together as a couple, and have been one of the greatest blessed that I have received in this world, be able to share this with my wife, my partner, and have the opportunity to live doing something that I love, that I have a lot of passion of it, and just enjoying all this world of salsa.
Amazing. Yes.
Well, in my case, I always was training in ballet, jazz, and hip hop, and I used to do commercial dancing with different recording artists. Till I met him, that we started dating, and that's why I accidentally got into this. Because when we were dating, the girl that used to dance with him got pregnant, and she had to stop traveling. So for him not to cancel the gigs that he had already confirmed, he asked me to substitute her while he found a steady salsa partner. And I'm sitting here.
Thank her for getting pregnant. That was a good thing. And before that, Tamara, you never were exposed to salsa dancing? You mentioned ballet and jazz.
Yes and no. I had done a video, I think, with Michael Stewart and a concert with Victor Manuel, but it was not salsa material. That's when it was started getting in fashion, the fusion of salsa and jazz and hip hop. So it was more, I considered it more a jazz-ish / salsa work than salsa compared to congresses, which was salsa hardcore, especially the social dancing part. That was not just choreo, but all the other aspects of it. So then I really had to learn my ABCs.
And how much advantage you think your experience with ballet and jazz gave you with salsa? Like it helps, yeah, go ahead.
Well, advantages, many in terms of all the lines, the control, especially with the stage presence, because like Tito always says, salsa is a social dance that you more or less learn it to enjoy yourself in a more one-on-one relationship with somebody, not to go on stage and perform it for an audience, in comparison to commercial dancing that we train to get on a stage, may it be with a performing artist or yourself as an artist to do a show. And all the other conditions it does give into the body, well, the extensions, the balance, all that. But it also takes away the part, doesn't take away, but it also is a disadvantage in the part of the lead and follow thing. Because in all the other disciplines, there's no lead and follow. You do it on your own, you know your work, and you do it. And in salsa, you have to actually acknowledge that there has to be one lead and one follow. Yeah, and that's hard when you come from all these other disciplines that does not go into practice as much.
Right, but there is more benefit, right? Because I know, would you recommend performers, would you recommend your dancers and performers that you work with to get the basics of ballet and jazz to become a better?
I always tell them to train in anything and everything they can, because everything is going to bring a fresh review or a different input of how you see or listen to the music, how you actually, once you listen, how you see what you're listening, different movements or different stuff you can do with salsa movements, how you can make them more unique. And that's like adding vocabulary to any dictionary. The more disciplines that you are able to do, the more versatile as a dancer.
100%. And speaking of disciplines, share with us a little bit about what it takes for you as dancers when it comes to practice. How much you practice and what's the secret to success there?
Well, I would never say exactly how we do it. In the terms that maybe it's not the best example, but the thing is that we understand each other and it have been years already, right? But I always say, like, there's a lot of different scale on how you get prepared. One thing is at the beginning, when we start, we came from like Tamara said, different backgrounds. So it took a while to find that connection and that chemistry between us to not pull out each other from what they do, but complement each other. And that took a lot of time, and not time, years, to find that connection, and how can I get advantage of the information that Tamara has, and how I can put a lot of information on where I come from, and going deep a little bit in what is the importance of that Tamara background. In my case, I was a complete salsero that trained a little bit more in those type of disciplines. And for me, it was an opportunity to polish a little bit more my salsa, to present it better on stage, one thing. Then can I express myself and understand better my body to express what really I am doing with my body, all that information. Because we don't, maybe in the salsa world, in that moment, we don't have that concept and that definition or that vocabulary to use to express certain things. And I think, como redundando un poquito, it was very helpful to train in another discipline to get better in my salsa. Now, in terms of how we prepare, at the beginning, like I was telling you, we did a lot of work together to find that chemistry. Now, because we know each other much better, so now we sit down, we figure out what we want to do, how we want to go, and then we start working basically over here in our house, in the living room.
Mostly after midnight, because that's when he gets.
I get my music and Kriam is sleeping, and we just find a corner over here and we start developing the move that we want to do. That's why I say baby is not the best advice, but it works for us. Like, for example, we always say that
he likes working under pressure.
Yes, I like that pressure. I like
I
like having that. Okay, in 1 week we have to debut, and that rush, it put me in a good way to create and be. But Tamara, at the beginning, she couldn't work like that, but now we understand each other to do it like that. But if I have to give an advice, obviously, you need to get more time to practice and give more time to develop ideas. Now, but we also, that's another part of training. We have been doing this for many years, obviously. I'm in my 44, Tamara is in his 40. So it's a different body that we have now, and to maintain that a good health conditioner. So we dedicate also a lot of time to train. Tamara goes to the gym, do fit boxing, I do CrossFit, and other things that help us to maintain our body in a good shape to be able to do the work that we're doing. And that's another part of the preparation that we need to have. But like, for example, when we are in Yamule with Osmar over there, and we start joking with them, Osmar always is fighting with Tamara, don't, ¿cómo es que dice? Que no me revuelques el gallinero.
I start ruffling his feathers. I love Osmar to bother him a lot. So I start getting all his girls and actually all his boys to like push them to go to BDC, Broadway Dance Center, to train. So take house classes, take hip hop, take jazz, take ballet.
Or take a break. Wait. You don't have to train that much.
Wait, don't start with your thing.
No. And they do it because they Tito Tamara, but you don't have to do it like that. Yeah, but of course, we dedicate obviously time to rehearse, but it's not a thing about like we do every day 5 hours. It's not like that. For us, at least
today,
it's not like
right? Because of all of these years that you put in.
Exactly. But we always try. For example, we keep training, and in the terms, for example, Tamara always take classes or jazz or ballet or hip hop, or we go to the congresses. We always take classes with other teachers and keep learning from other people. Even when we are over here in Puerto Rico, if we find out that someone has a boot camp or just some classes, or we are traveling and we know someone that can teach us something else, something new, we always keep training. So
at this stage, being in the position of a student is literally a break. It's detoxing for you because it's no pressure zone. So you get to learn, you get to enjoy, you get to ask questions, you get to clown around. You shouldn't, but I do. but it's just like literally free time for us with the no pressure of being the instructor or the professional on stage, but just one more student having fun and learning.
And give you fresh ideas also. You see what your peers are doing and how can you alimentarse, feed from that information to keep developing. So I think the training and the learning experience never has to stop. And you know, you're always gonna keep learning and practicing. The moment that you sit down and say, okay, I know everything, that's the moment that you stop and that's it.
Right.
So it's different time that you dedicate depending the stage that you are, but it's a process that never stops.
It's amazing that after all these years, you take classes and you're so open to learn. And I don't want to give the answer for the next question because this is a personal question of mine. And one of the main things, because I admire so many different things about you guys professionally and not professionally, but staying relevant after so many years being in the business. We all see those dancers that come, they become very famous, and then they disappear for many different reasons. But all these years in the business, you're still the top, one of the top couples out there, and people hire you, and you're performing with all these young, amazing dancers, and you're right there closing the shows. And what does it take to stay relevant? Because to be one of the best, practice, hard work, discipline, but then when you're in the top, to stay there, that's not easy, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
But it should be the whole package, Moshe. And there's many, many, many talented people that really have amazing, impressive talent, but sometimes they lack the maturity in terms of the ethic, correct work ethic, or people skills to actually be able to work through what all this entitles. And I think that's a very decisive factor in our case.
Is that, and also that thing of like we were saying, always trying to maintain fresh what we're doing. There's always something that is going to identify what we do, what Tito and Tamara do, but we always trying willing to get infected in a good way to the new tendencies that they are.
Without stop being Tito and Tamara. Because that's something we're very insistent of. You always need to keep your identity.
And obviously understanding one other thing, you know, I'm 44. I'm 44 now. I'm not 20 years and no more. So I cannot be doing things that maybe I was doing 20 years ago. But understanding what other things I can do that all the experience take us to this moment to be able to express and move certain way and with some control and try to express that variety of things that maybe we can give to the public, or sabes, como cuando hablamos de las diferencias que hacemos. Okay, I know that sometimes I want to do something very elegant, but sometimes I want to go something maybe more modern or something classic or something funky, and you know, keep having that variety. And sometimes I understand that sometimes there's work that always people are looking for, like, okay, I would like to see Tito Tamara a certain way, but there's other works that we just want to do because we want to express what we can do. And obviously with that, is as a package, is because I always say it's not only about the talent. The talent is very important to get you to a point, but it's a lot of things that go around that talent that can maintain your career. And everybody, no matter what level you are, when you're coming for the very first time, that first, second, even your fifth show can be very good. Remember that you come in new, and you come in with a lot of information. Now the thing is that how you maintain all that when it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to maintain that. That would be the hard part. And there's people that have been doing it before us, and there's people that we're looking forward for them when we see people like Eddie, or we see people like Billy, or we see people like some of my teachers that still working and doing a good job. We are always trying to look, okay, what these guys are doing so they can maintain themselves. And the thing is the same thing. It's always a learning process. And obviously, other thing that we say is that we enjoy this process and not be completely obsessed with the term of dancer. That's what we do, but not necessarily what we are. And that's always one thing that we say. When we are home, we dedicate our life to our kid. We do this. We try to do it as better as we can, because that is gonna. It's not. It's one thing that we want to, obviously, as an art, and we want to have the appreciation and the acceptance of the public and everybody that they hire us, but also it's our way to give everything that we can do to our kids. So that's the most fuel that we have. So we need to do our best. We have to be on point, because that means that we can work, and then if we can work, we can do everything to our kids. So at the end, la motivación, the motivation go changing depending in what stage of life you are. So in this case, I think that thing of trying to give our best to our son Triam is one of the best things that say, no, Tamara, we have to, we need to practice, we have to put this together, we have to do this, we have to do that. And that's one of the motivations that gives
once a student, always a student, right?
Oh, right. Yes, of course.
First of all, I just have to clarify something. 44 is very young, okay? Because you thought,
I know,
it's over, I'm 44. Now that I'm getting closer, I want to say 44 is very young.
That's what you're saying.
Okay.
But no.
I don't feel old.
It's not very young.
It's healthy.
No, I don't feel old. I don't feel old. But I say that in terms of my body, I used to be an athlete. I have 10. I got 10 casts in my body. So that means in my knees, in my ankles, in my fingers, in my elbows, a lot of things. So pains are coming in and hitting you. But I feel good. But the thing is that maybe 20 years ago, I would jump, I would throw, and I don't think about those things. But now
you think
I administrated myself a little bit better.
You're 20.
But
you're 21 with 23 years of experience. That's the way to put it, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Now, one thing that I also really like, and I see it also not just on ADC, because on ADC you really do that, but also in other events, you're really a part of the event. You know, you attend the other workshops, you attend the parties, you do the theme parties, you dress so nice together. Is that intentionally, and how important it is?
Yes, because actually we do enjoy it. So it's of course, and we know that it is officially part of our work in some events, but when we do enjoy it, it's even better. So we'll make it part of the whole package thing. It's a prep for your events. It's a prep. Like he'll go online and start looking for all the things, and then I'll go to the stores, and then we'll start fighting. You know, I want the sleeves longer. No, this doesn't fit. No, that's too tight. It's the whole process because of you.
Just like.
No, but it's a thing that you enjoy, but you understand, you know, the whole concept of the congresses is all around that. It's not only about the performances. One thing, obviously, we understand that we need to go there, do a good show, do a good performance, give a good class, train. But it's the congresses is all that part. Is sometimes some parts are social, some parts are being part of what is happening over there because people wanna have that contact with you, and that's have been the successful of the congresses because at one point, and I don't like to use this word that much, but at one point we are artists of the event, right? But people are close to you, so you know you have to be accessible.
Yeah, it's a part of. We know that we're part of the organization, so we're responsible for also making the event a success. We know that we're going to be in contact with the audience, so you want to make it memorable for them in any way you can as a person. And as artists, you want it to have fun too, so we want to make it enjoyable for ourselves too.
Yes, we need to do whatever we need to do to be able, because when I say that, for example, we go into ADC, ADC is like from you to all the people that is under you to make that happen. From the chief, the people from the cruise, from the artist. So everybody is a whole group to put into and everybody have to do the part to be able to that the event is successful. So whatever we need to do to make that event is successful, we're not thinking about just Tito Tamara. Let's make the event successful, and that's the way that we always think about.
No,
any
this is
event.
great that you guys said that, and thank you so much, because you know it's so basic and so common sense, but at the same time, I think people should hear that because it helps so much to the event. And as the promoter, you know, when I see all these little things that our dancers do, being a part of the event and dance, like you said, the workshops are important. Putting a great show is very important, but being a part of the event, that's a secret sauce of ADC. You know, and so many other events, having dancers like yourself that really enhance that experience of salsa overall, which is again more than just a workshop. It's to actually talk to you, dance with you, learn from your experience, and this is great. How do you see salsa in congresses today versus 1997 when the whole Congress craze started? I'm listening. I'm listening.
The first thing is obviously is now is a lot more bigger. It's
multiplied.
It's when we started those events in 1997. When Eli was the one that created the event. Even he didn't know how big this would go from that point. When we started doing the Bacardi tour of the Congress, we went to the places, and people did not know what they're gonna expect when we were there. So now that have been multiplied all over. I think in terms of the dancing, I think the level went high. You know,
has skyrocketed.
Yes, the level of the dancing, what people are being able to do right now with all the style of dancing, for me, is amazing. In terms of the dancing, in terms of how do we teach, is having developed pretty good. People have more at the beginning. We have certain people that know how to express the information of the salsa, but it wasn't that concrete. It was like everybody was teaching their own way, and still everybody has different styles to teach, but it's more having more fundamentals in what they teach. Still, we keep doing things like the seminar that we do there because we need to keep having the information alive. But I think people is more prepared right now. I think also in terms of the social dancing, we can find tons of more people dancing today. Different styling, they know different how to express different music. So I think from 1997 or what is happening today, it has been a blessing for the world of salsa. That is a chain reaction to the bands, to the music, to the everything that involves salsa. I think have been very helpful that this type of event have been growing that much because have been having the salsa so much alive today. So much people around the world is dancing salsa, and it's all because of this type of event that started from 1997 to now. And still, there's some things that I think that I wouldn't say bad, but can improve. Maybe that we saw back then. But I always try to see always the positive part of this. Yes. So I think overall it has been more positive than negative going.
And for you, Tamara?
I wasn't around in 1997.
Oh yeah, you're 25. I forgot about that. True. Yes.
No, I started in 2000 in the Congress things. So yeah, almost 20 years ago. And yes, the difference is from impressive because back then was a smaller crowd, international sense, and then the locals were the big crowd pertaining to where the Congress was taking to. And now there's no limit. It's not a matter of culture or even language. It's a matter of how dedicated people are in whatever country, city, state, what makes their dancing and their level so impressive. Some people have adopted salsa as their own. And for example, let's talk about Europe, especially in Italy, in Spain, donde más, France. There's so many countries that many of them don't even understand the lyrics, and what they are able to transmit, not only when they teach, but when they perform, it's beautiful. It's impressive, and they have nothing to do with the Latino culture, the culture. And that's impressive, amazing. And it also, it's a call and a pro, because for example, in those cases, I always tell people, how do you say, los animo, pep them up to also learn what the songs are saying or what the culture is about, so that that could complete more what they're doing. They already have a beautiful art, and if they could have even more understanding of that, that even will take them to a higher level. Because it's a very inclusive thing when it comes to this type of dance, that sometimes it's so hand in hand with what the song is saying in terms of performance. It's same in terms of teaching. Not only know your material, but also know how many ways or colors can you explain it so that everybody would understand it in their own way. So it's very more intricate now, very more complicated, but yes, also very more complete than what it was.
And there's more, like under the umbrella, I say, under the umbrella of salsa today, it has diversified more the taste for salsa. For example, back then you say a salsero over here in Puerto Rico that we call it cocolo. So we say, okay, a salsero. A salsero would be someone that loves the salsa, but it can be a salsa, just a guy that loves to hear the salsa and sing the salsa. Like we do a lot in Puerto Rico. We don't need to hear the salsa and go running and dance salsa. We just
domino, get a drink, talk.
Just have a social, like we're gonna see in Cuba also, because they're more or less like that. And there's the people that love to dance salsa, but there's like the bailadores, like the people that goes to these parties to just dance salsa. And there's always have been a bailarina, like professional dancer, but not that much like it is today. So now we have the people that like just to hear the salsa, the other ones, the bailadores that still going to the parties, and the ones that perform. But today we have the ones that want to compete, the ones that want to just take classes, the ones that just have a blast and a great party just with the salsa music, and the other ones that just want to collect music. So under the umbrella of salsa, I think all these events, what they have been done is growing the different needs or the different tastes that we can have through the salsa. Maybe we can see in the same event people that they don't care nothing about taking any class, but they always go over there and have a huge weekend, have a party. And
there's a lot of actually clients of yours in your events that are older than us, and they probably won't even be dancing the whole night down, but I will remember their faces in every one of our workshops, sitting down and smiling and watching the workshop. And then we'll go like, we love to see you teaching. We love what you do. We won't do it, but we love watching it. And then they'll go to the next workshop, and I'll see them again sitting in another workshop, just the same. And they're older. They enjoy watching other people dance and teach and learn. And then they'll be the whole night on the outfits of the theme, having a blast. And that's very unique.
The entire culture of dancing and Latin culture is very unique.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of questions, but we talked about today and congresses versus the past. You do something very nice on ADC, and I'm so happy that every year we bring it back and back, because I really believe that we always need to pay respect for the people and the music from the past and people that brought us today, from the very beginning of salsa to what we do today. How did you start with a lecture of yours that it's so unique and original, right? You have original material and original presentation of the history of salsa. How important it is to share that history with the young crowd like you do on ADC every year. And how did you start with that?
Well, in 2004, right here in Puerto Rico, we were sitting and we were saying, okay, we want to do, we started a project that called University of Salsa, by the University of Salsa. So we said, okay, let's identify different styling. And that was a group of teachers with Ali that brought the idea. So he said, okay, let's find someone that can develop a method or a vocabulary for identifying the LA style. Or let's find someone to identify the New York style. And all the style, different style. Now, what we end was bringing one teacher from the University of Puerto Rico, Professor University of Puerto Rico, that called M. Gonzalez. M. Gonzalez was the source, el recurso, that we brought to teach about the history of the music. But it was just for a moment of the music of the salsa. Now, we brought at the beginning, I think we brought Eddie Torres. They brought my father to teach about the music in terms of musicality with me. And we brought Joey to talk about LA. Well, we brought different people. Even Michael Fong was part of the no, but because we call it folklore. So folklore was inside Cuba, rumba, bomba, plena. So we brought Tiki, Jorge. But at the end, having all that information all together was pretty high because it was everybody trying to put different things, right? But what I stick the most is the work of Hermes Gonzalez, because his work was about facts. It was about the history of the music. So what I said, at one point we started like trying to condense all that information, doing better, and because I started developing a method of teaching over here in Puerto Rico that put all the ones that come before me, and what I was trying to contribute to create the method of teaching of Puerto Rico. I talked to all my teachers before me, and I said, okay, I want to create this method. But I went to the State of Department of Puerto Rico, registered that method of teaching. And he said, well, you know what, let's do it in salsa puertorriqueña. So let's do a certification in salsa puertorriqueña. So this have been growing from 2004, 2005, 2006. At one point, I keep calling Hermes Gonzalez to talk about the history of the salsa. But I say, at one point he said, Tito, you know what, I cannot, I don't have the opportunity to travel like you're doing. So you know all this information already. You should keep making it grow and keep going, and you do it by yourself. So what I do is at the backbone of the center of that conference, I start dipping, going forward and going back from that moment that he was talking about, and going parallel in terms of the dancing, because we lack about the information about the history of the music, but about the history of the dance, we don't have anything that people have been writing or documented. So I say, okay, I start finding more information, and I start first with, like I always explained in the beginning of the lecture, with Mike Ramos. Mike Ramos is one of the pioneers of the history of the Palladium, of the era of the Palladium. So I start digging out in his photos, and I start making an interview with him. That gives me access to another people, and the other experience that I have with Papito, with Aníbal Vázquez, with Roberto Roena, sharing information with Gilberto Santa Rosa, that he's a huge fan of this history. So I took it like personally that I need to put this together and start finding more and more information, start reading more books, start finding more facts in the internet. That gives me the opportunity to reach to another person, starting changing things that I have. Okay, I got this photo, what do you have for me? I do a lot of change back then also with Albert Torres. And when people saw that I started doing things like that, I started acquiring a lot of good information. And I am a fan of the history overall. I love to, my favorite channel beside ESPN and seeing basketball is Discovery Channel. And I love the history overall. But I'm a fan, and I love the salsa. So trying to find this information about the salsa have been a quest of mine that hasn't stopped. Since 2004, what I went like deep in every year, I keep finding more things. I even have files on my computer that I have been not able to put on the conference because I want to keep like searching. Every time that I put something in the conference is because I find like a couple of sources that they are all saying, okay, yes, okay, this is right, I put it on. When last time that I went to Cuba, I got like tons of conference that I got over there with the people of the song, with the people of Casino, with the Professor University of Cuba, and I keep every time that I have opportunity to, even in ADC, I was over there with Canario. And Canario saw a piece of the conference and said, Tito, you know what? You put this cover on the conference, and the cover is this one. And I say, okay, but I got this one. And we were talking about the salsa romantica. So I sit down over there on the pool. We stay like almost 2 hours over there, sitting down, and I just make an interview, and I got more information of him. And I do this every time that I got an opportunity. Last year also with Gilberto, someone gave me a photo that I said, wow, this photo for me is like a, you know, it's all the, it's, I thought that it was a fake photo. So I went over there to him. Gilberto, someone give me this photo. Gilberto just sit down and tell me the whole history of the photo. And I just keep digging like that. So that type of experience, I got it like almost every time that I have the opportunity to, in the Crucero Z93, I sit down with Rey de la Paz. Rey, I sit down with Andy Montañez. I sit down with ETL. I sit down with Ismael Miranda.
Digo, that's a parenthesis. We're a bit lucky that we have access to all these amazing names we're saying. Yeah, so that's something that more than grateful and humble because of it. But yeah, he has that special access to others.
No, and Warsaw, I always thought that I got a little lack of information about the salsa in Cuba, but today. So in last time we having the Yoruandao, it was over there, and there was some musicians from Cuba. So because I was talking to Michael told me, no, talk to these guys because these guys know a lot. So I sit down over there. We were having the lunch. Stay with them 3 hours over there, just asking. So the thing is that every time that I try to do that, that I have the opportunity, I'm always in a research. So for me, I think that today is very important to have all this information that I can be able to share with this community and this generation, because I know that a lot of this information get lost because we don't have that in books, or we don't have special TV programs about that. And in the process, if people doesn't share in voice, it get lost. And people, I think that the big experience that everybody has when they go out from the lecture is that they understand better, much better, and deeper what we are doing today. And when we do understand that way, if you are a dancer or just a salsero, everything is gonna make a lot more sense.
100%. And
I'm very thankful that you give me the opportunity to do that. And every time that I have the opportunity to do an event, I'm very grateful. One thing, because I have a big passion of this, but the other thing is give me opportunity to put that little grain in the salsa history. And
I think we both share the responsibility of letting you do what you do. And for me, it's a big debate because every year it's either giving you a great workshop that we want you to teach with Tamara, cha-cha, or salsa, or whatever, or the history. And okay, so 1 and 1. But it's very much needed. And the funny thing is that all these great, amazing dancers we all look up to, they come to your presentation, and everybody leave with a better sense of understanding what they're dancing to and why, and the history. And then when you go on the dance floor, you dance with so much more passion. And I think I saw your presentation like 5 times, and every time it's different. And it's great because you bring your personal experience and passion to it, and it shows. And honestly, I mean, I don't like school, you know, and it's sometimes presentation, even the best one, can be very annoying, but you make it interesting. You make it interesting and relevant, and it's so much fun. And I highly recommend it to everybody to come to your presentation on the cruise. Really quick, for 20 minutes now, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let them go. I know how busy you are, but you keep sharing with us so much good information. So it keeps on. But really quick, in one sentence, 2 quick questions. One, both of you, quick tip for all the dancers that look up to you and want to be successful dancers and have fun. What would you recommend us?
Well, we always say, keep training, keep learning from everyone and from everything. Maybe salsa, bachata, tap, hip hop, flamenco, whatever. You can make it. You can make it different, make it bigger, make it smaller, make it whatever. You have the skills and the information. Just
keep on learning.
Input it.
Yes. Never stop learning and enjoy
Have
the
fun.
process. Enjoy the process. The process can be when I say enjoy, not always have to be happy. So sometimes that process, it can be painful, it can be sad, but enjoy the process, because then you're gonna understand that sometimes you have to go to a hard part to get to a very good part, and that's part of life. So always have a positive mind in life. For everything. Always think about positive. All the yes first. No first.
Yes,
always
yes first.
Yes first. Yes, we can do. Yes, we can do. And through that process, keep learning and enjoy.
That's great. Process. And I know, my second question, I know what you're looking for ADC, in ADC, to have fun, to see your friends, to be a part of the event, but specifically going to Cuba. It's the first time for ADC. It's the first time for Royal Caribbean to go to Cuba. We're the first company to do that with them. What are you looking for the most being in Cuba that day of Friday?
In my case, which I'm the newbie here, I'm going completely in a blank page, because I don't know what to expect. I know what I've seen in TV and movies and documentaries. I know what I've read. I know what I've heard, but it's always an individual experience for everyone. So I'm just happy. I'm just going with my pom-poms and my camera and my everything, and just as an open page. So I don't have anything specific to say about that. I'm willing and able to enjoy and input everything.
And Tito, for you?
We're going to the motherland of this music.
Anything specific that you want to do there?
For me, always is a quest to find more information.
Okay.
So if I can find something else that I don't have, every time that I've been in Cuba, last time, I went to the places I said, don't show me the things that you have on the tourist trap. Show me what you have back there that I cannot find other areas like here. So I always try to find, if I can find a new experience or something that I don't know, or something that I can be helpful to keep knowing more about this music, and have fun with the Cuba culture. It's not that accessible anymore, and I think this people need to see what is Cuba, the people, the music, and the culture. And just over there have I know that everybody gonna leave with a warm heart.
It's amazing. From the one day that I was there with the team, I can tell you that the people are the nicest. It's super safe to be there. Everywhere you go, you hear the music and people are dancing, and there's so much fun. And it's from everywhere you go, from the Hotel Nacional or anywhere you go, it's so much history everywhere. We are the tourists that you made fun of, and we actually took a tour. We took a tour. They call it the dance. They call it the dance and art tour. If this is something you might like and you don't have a lot of plans for Tamara, this is amazing. We went to a dance school of ballet and flamenco and salsa, and we saw how they train there, and we talked to them, to the dancers, and heard their story. We went to a museum of art. We saw a bunch of things there. At night, we went to Club Tropicana. I'm sorry, the famous club from 1939, I think. So much history there. La Casa de la Música, I think that's the only place I haven't visited, but I'm gonna go there with you guys. No, I haven't gone there because we went to
okay.
So then you're responsible for my experience.
I mean, I expect Tito to have a full plan for you and 50 friends waiting for you at the port, but if he doesn't have a plan, I'll forward you my plan. No problem.
No. Actually, I never done the thing of the schools. I've been and other things, but the thing of they took go to some schools, and I would love to do that. I've been more in the part of the Afro part, the rumba, and obviously to la Casa de la Música, all the other places they have salsa. Obviously, you have to go to allí to la bodeguita del medio. You have to see the trio talking, playing songs.
And have enough time to eat.
You know,
Make sure you have enough time to eat because the food was great. Wow.
Good.
Wow.
Always,
Yeah.
always.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead.
For us, it's a
Yes, yes, for everything.
No, for us, the food is a yes,
The
yes.
food was great. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are. And I cannot wait to see you in June. It's going to be very special. And then in November, of course.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for always coming with us, Mama.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Good luck.